Hello there, it's Kim again, coming to you with another paper crafting creation. My name is Kim. I'm from Wild Rose and Pearl. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based out of the Okanagan, British Columbia, Canada. So today we have the September 2025 Fall for Toile. Now we have a new set of paper that just came in September. Toile is the theme. It's a toile style paper, so maybe it connects with this. I have it on the other side of the room, so if that does come into play, we will go show you that, because hey, you could keep your crafting going. Anyway, we're gonna open this up and we're gonna see what we got. So we've got a stamp set here. I'm gonna pull the printout because we have those now, and it'll show us what these stamps say. Our color is Cajun Craze. It is pretty much the official fall color, that and pretty peacock, you know, teal and like a rust color. Okay. And then we're going to open this up. Now, the only thing this calls for, Paper Pumpkin, calls for a set of scissors. That's about pretty much the only thing they ask you to add on to it is a set of scissors, which will make your life easier. So I do have those paper snips with me here. Lots of adhesive on them, but yeah, they're here. Your first Paper Pumpkin, you'll get a block that looks like this. Now, I trade this out for our ergonomic blocks, but this is they'll give you one of these on the first one. And then after that, you just take this with you, toss it in the box, and take it with you, and you'll have pretty much everything you need. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to trade out that one for my big thick one here, just because I'm more comfortable with it. And then another thing that I add is a take your pick. Now this is just for pure convenience and comfort. It's really great for taking the backings off of your dimensionals or picking out little embellishments. Okay, so here we are. Here I have been talking over this baby the whole time. So we'll open this up. And it looks today like we've got a couple of differences here. So we've got our instructions, fall for toile, and then we've got 3 cards each, 3 designs. So that's normal. Well, at least what seems to be normal now. We usually get about that much. And then we've got 3 envelopes, all different colors on those. And our kit, like I said, 9 cards, 9 envelopes, coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors, Cajun Craze, Crumb Cake, Darling Duckling, Early Espresso, Pecan Pie, Timid Tiger, and Metallic Chocolate Bronze. Okay, so that's a new metallic color, Metallic Chocolate Bronze, an earth tone, yeah. And then here is our stamps. So wishing you the happiest of days, thinking of you, thankful, and warm wishes. We've got some geese in there, flying in a V, some leaves, some things we can color. And then always remember, there is also the coordinating die cuts. So they've got these coordinating die cuts, I think, that are going to go through. This was the same one as last month, so I think it covers 3 months. So that's great. All right, we're going to pull out this. We're going to put aside this. Now that we've seen, I'm going to flip this over. So we've got some dimensionals here. Great. Some glue dots as well. So there must be some components that need those. We're just going to pull those out of the bags. These bags are great for holding like die cuts that you've done or something. Great for your crafting room. For other purposes. Okay. Pull those out, put those aside. We've got some ribbon going on. Okay, put that up there. Let's take our instructions, and we're gonna pull up. Well, I'll grab the envelopes first because we do put those aside right away. So we've got 3 to go with each set, and they are 12. Look to them. With some stag deer. Now this matches, I'm pretty sure this matches a paper that we have in that other 12 set perfectly. But like, how cute are those? Little deer in there? What a great envelope set. So the inside of the envelopes are not lined. So it's just that flap that we're decorating. So we'll put those aside because we don't really need those to make the cards. Okay, now we open up our instructions from the front here. We open it up once and we have this centerpiece here. This is where we collect all of our pieces. So we're going to start off with card number 1. And then I will put them aside. So card number 1 is this brown card base. Okay, getting all crooked here. Getting all crooked some more. Okay. The brown card base, we're going to put that there. Now, look at this, though. Both sides of the card are printed. So if you wanted to, you could pull in some white cardstock or black cardstock, and you could cut this off here and make your card base just the front. So then you would always have a spare set to create another card with some more elements that you like. So that is really cool that they print both sides sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. Okay, and we have these 3 pieces, but we do need to pick up some other pieces here. So I'm just going to go through, see what I can find. Okay, we need a frame. Oh, that's very cool. Nice, cool frame. It's got that, what did they call it again? Chocolate something. Chocolate. Okay, and then we need a circle. Look at this cute little fox. Oh, that's so cute. We're going to need one of these. I know we'll need one of these. Okay, so those other pieces. Oh, I don't know how that happened. Oh, one of my cards got kind of dented in there. Interesting. I wouldn't think that would happen. Okay, so in between these 2 was this piece here. I'm going to need that. And we've got 4, so we've got 1 extra for a mess up if we do. So I need a circle and stamps, embellishments, ink spots. Oh, a thankful. So I need a thankful as well. Let's grab that out of here. Okay, so there's all the components for card number 1. Then we're going to grab the components for card number 2. So that's going to be one of these linen pieces. Now let's find that one that was a little bit crumpled. We'll do that one first. There it is right there. Don't know how it happened, but it happened. Maybe in the cellophane wrapping? Not a big deal. Okay, and then we need 2 leaves. Wow, we get 2 leaves for each. I feel like these could be stretched if you use these for other alternative cards. We take in 3 of these chocolate leaves. 3 chocolate leaves. 1. You know what? These 2 want to fall out. 2, 3. So I'm just going to let them fall out. Well, they were acting like they were ready to fall out. Okay, 1, 2, 3. A big white circle with chocolate gold trim. Yeah, the foil accents on here just really are not, whenever they do pictures online, you never see that foil accent until you're actually playing with it. And they're always so great, like such cool foil accents. And then I need a piece of ribbon. I need a piece of this ribbon. Which side are we going to open here? There we go. Good side. 1 piece of this ribbon. Now this is a nice, is it called gross grain ribbon, I think is what they call it, when it has that texture to it, like the rib texture to it. It makes a noise. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, so this gross grain ribbon. Okay, so we got our 2 leaves, circle, 3 chocolate leaves, and a gross grain ribbon. Perfect. Then we have a checkered base. Again, printed on both sides, so you can stretch that if you wanted. Okay, so we're going 1, 2, and 3. We've got one of these cool cornstalks pieces. Love that. I want to Wink Castella that, I think. It looks like this is our last thing is a flag here, so we'll take that. And we've got a fox and some pumpkins. So these are very much like that new paper. This fox is on that new paper. I know he is. And these pumpkins are on that new paper. So you could use this as a stencil for other things if you so choose. But we're going to get crack-a-lackin' down to business here. Okay. So then what we're going to do is take our instructions and we're going to flip it over and we're going to look and then be number 1. So we'll do that. Number 1. Okay. I'm also going to have to open up my ink spot here. So I'm going to grab my scissors and right between the clear and the white here is where it opens. So it's sealed, but I don't want to open both sides. So I just take my scissors away from the body, away from the body, away from my hands, and I just put it along that edge there. And it creates a crease in the sticker. And I can just open it up. Now I always use my stamp pad onto my stamp rather than taking my stamp and trying to deal with the lid, trying to stamp like that. So I just place my ink on my stamp instead. A little bit backwards, but I like it that way. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our acorns and we're going to stamp them onto our little circle here. Now a lot of times the factory edge will have these little pieces that are attached, and some of those little edges, those little connectors will be attached to the elements. So I just take them off. Then let's pull out our stamp, find our little acorn, our little itty bitty acorn. We're going to put that onto our stamp pad or our stamping block. So I just lay it down, pick it up. I'm going to rub off that factory. It's like a factory. We usually just rub it on our hand or rub it, and then we use a little bit of water and a scrubbing pad, and we can just wash off that factory residue. And then our stamp should take our color really, really well. If you don't do that, a lot of the time, oh, these are such fine lines. Last month's set and this month's set, very fine lines. A lot of times the factory stuff will make the ink pool away. So you just need to clean that off so that the ink stays in the center and doesn't pool away on you. Okay, so we're going to take our little acorn here in Cajun Craze. We're going to stamp our little acorns inside of our chocolate foil circle. There we go, cute little acorns. Okay, and then the next, put that over to be cleaned. Then the next thing we're going to do, it says here, so we're just going to take all of our elements here, and we're going to start adding some dimensionals to them. Now I'm just going to, again, those little nibs from the factory are on this, the edges of this element here. There we go. So we've got that. And we're going to bring in our dimensionals. Now this is where that take your pick tool comes in real handy. You just pick, use your pokey end, you just pick it. Now with circles, or like a table, 3 dimensionals usually holds it together and makes it really good. Now, because they have actually, it looks like this is half on, half off of a dimension item. So they're only asking for 2 dimensionals, and they're asking for you to put them on what would be the left-hand side. So when I flip it over, I'm going to want to make sure I have it on the left-hand side. I think that's pretty good. I want that to be up like that. So that's a little crooked for what they're calling for. So I'm actually going to move these. I want this little acorn to go onto it like that. So I'm going to make sure that I put my dimensionals on this side of this line here for my grid paper. So I'm just using this pick to pick it off. Didn't do a very good job on that one. So I'm just going to take off that adhesive. So this one's on this side. I'm just going to put another one on for stability on this side. Yep. Okay. And then it's asking for 2 glue dots to go on the other side. So we've got 2 glue dots on this side. And this just means that 1/2 of the element is going to be raised and 1/2 of the element is going to be down. If you had glue, you could just put a little bit of glue behind there, and that would be fairly easy to put that on. Okay, so now back to our dimensionals again. And we are putting a ton of them on this picture frame. So I'm going to line up so that the straight sides of my my hexagons here are going down the side here, just so that they fit on there real nice. So making sure the flat ends, my hexagons are there, there. We're putting on a couple few, just a couple few here. One in the corner, one in the middle. Now, if you don't know about Paper Pumpkin, I have been doing Paper Pumpkin for a long time. It is a monthly subscription, but I do find that on holidays and stuff, I can go into my stamp sets that I get with these kits. If I don't have a holiday, I'm bound to find it in here. If I don't have a color, I'm bound to find it in my spots that I've collected over time. It's a great way to start collecting colors. And the value of it, with all the components and just grabbing some white paper, I can stretch these quite far and make a lot more cards and a lot more stuff if I want to with it, if I want to do alternatives. I just find that it's such a great way to start getting into creating in a very simplistic way. It allows you to be creative, but it also gives you some structure so that you kind of know where to start. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed the Paper Pumpkins. They were a really great start, and I like showing them because maybe if you watch it, you'll think it's just as simple to start yourself. Okay, so I'm going to take my card now, and I'm going to fold it in half. Then I'm just going to use my block that I have here. I'm just going to burnish the edge. If you didn't think you could use a block to fold your crease lines, well, there you go. Now you've seen everything. No, I'm kidding. You have not seen everything, but you've seen something. You've seen some kind of way. Okay, so now we're going to take our picture frame here with our beautiful fall tree, and we're going to pick off all the backs off of these. So like I said, this is a really great tool because you just poke the back of the paper and tug, and it all comes off. It just comes off. So it is a great little tool just to make your life easier. I don't have nails. I can't grow nails. I suck at it. And so this is a great tool to allow me to have some ease. Okay, and then we're centering this little tree right in here. That little foil accent is wonderful. You can see it there, that little foil, chocolate foil. Use my Take Your Pick tool, take the backings off of this, my little acorn, and my backings off of the Thankful. Now it looks like the Thankful is going to go on first. Oh, not upside down, it's not. And we're putting that directly below this set of leaves here. And we're not centering it. We're putting it right near the tree there. So it's not fully centered. Okay. Also going to pull the backs off of these. I thought I might have to move these because I might not have been perfect with those. So those are essentially going to attach to the picture frame, which is already popped up. And then these ones are going to keep that level. So we're tucking these right over the end of the word Thankful here. And then we're lining up we don't want our pop-ups to go above this popped up thing or it'll be double popped up. So I'm just going to lay it in and kind of push it in till I get it close to those words. And then I'm going to place it on that picture frame. Now that's solid on there. That's solid. That's solid. Okay. Now look at how fast that one was. Nice simple card. Super fast. The foil is a beautiful accent on there. And like, that's our first one done. Look at how snazzy we are. Okay. Next one, number 2. Okay. So number 2, poke that up to the top there. Pull out all of our pieces for number 2. Okay. Oh, quite the instructions on this one. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to fold my card. I'm going to burnish the edge here. Okay. We are stamping Wishing You the Happiest of Days. Let me get my last stamp off. Now, if you ever use a color in a red pigment, do not be scared. Do you see that? It stained my photopolymer. Anything with a red pigment in it will stain your photopolymer. The only way to really stop that from happening is if you have some Versamark ink. You can stamp it in Versamark first and then stamp it in your ink packet. Maybe it won't color. But that's about the only thing that I've seen that people have done. But yeah, there's a little discoloration. It does not affect the usefulness of your stamp. It just discolors it. So yeah, that'll happen with real red, like you would not believe. Anything in a purple color tone, we'll give it a little bit of a pink tone to it. Just anything in the red family. The blue family doesn't seem to do it as much. So red is a intense color. Okay, so I forgot to rub off that residue. Here we go, nice and rubbed off. Now it should stamp really good. So Gauge and Craze all over that. Tappity tap, tap, tap. And then we're going to take our circle, which is the most forgiving shape to stamp, is a circle. You can stamp it from any direction and it always just seems to be fine. Just try and stamp it in the center. And no matter what, it's kind of straight, right? There we go. Wishing you the happiest days. That stamped really nicely. Okay. Off goes that one. Then we've got to pull in our little leaf here. Well, 2 little leaves, it says. We've got 2 leaves on this one. Which kind do I want? Okay, so we've got this leaf. Let's put that one on. And we've got this bottom leaf. Put that one on. Okay, I was pretty quiet during all that. Sorry, my brain went into another area. Okay, so yeah, basically this is for an accent around the edge of this. So we're just gonna accent around the edge of the paper. Why not? Yeah, my brain was like, what is going on with these stamps? I need to make sure these are clean and in the right direction. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to be stamping off the edge anyway. So I'm going to pull in a piece of scrap paper just because I'm going to be stamping out the edge and I want my grit paper to be nice. So I'm just going to stamp all around the outside edge. 1. Now I think you could stamp it off once. That's what it's asking you to do actually. It's to stamp it off once on your scrap paper. I'm going to say I made a mistake on that. I'm going to flip it over. Because I have 2 sides, I can cut that back off and put it on the card base. So it's saying scratch paper, it wants you to stamp off once. And so this is called 2nd generation stamp. And as you can see, this is a much lighter color than that. That is quite a deep, deep color. So this is much more forgiving to the the lightness of the paper. So just stamping off, stamp in there, stamping off, stamp in there, lots of stamping off. So anybody out there in the crafting world, are we fall people or are we summer people? Because I'm kind of both. Like, I'm kind of all the seasons. I struggle with winter. I mean, it's not my favorite, but it has its place, right? I'm just gonna spin that around so I can get some variety on my leaves. But yeah, this is a bit of a tedious kind of job. Doing this stamping off. But the effect of it, I know, is going to be great. It always is when you do this kind of accenting stamping. Just you're kind of making your own paper, you know? And then you just change out the directions of things and you're good. Yeah, the fall leaves are really pretty. My husband was just in a mountain pass where there's something called larch trees, and these larch trees are incredible. Once, like, the mountainside will be all green, and then fall will come in, and these larch trees, just the whole mountainside is yellow. It's like Ontario when they have their maple trees and everything goes red, right? BC, we have our BC and bordering Alberta. We have these larch trees, and that's our gem. That's our thing. These larch trees, and they're just so pretty. And yeah, he took some pictures today and sent them to me, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad you're in your happy place. So glad you're in your happy place, loving your trees. Boop, I hit the camera for a second there. Loving all his trees. He works on mountaintops a lot, so it's yeah, he has a way cooler job than me. Well, actually, I get to be there to raise our kids, so that's a pretty cool job too, because I think my kids are pretty cool. Our kids are pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's what he was doing today, playing amongst the yellow trees. Not really playing, but working amongst the yellow trees. But yeah, he gets some pretty spectacular views up there on the mountaintops. It's a pretty amazing place to be. And sometimes we get to go and join him and pretend like we're travelers. But the beauty thing about all of that is that we've seen a lot of BC and Alberta, and so we're very lucky. Like, we really know our own province quite well. We know how beautiful it is, and we don't take that for granted. Like, no matter where you live, there's beauty everywhere. Each spot has its own beautiful things. Like, I definitely don't see a lot of the blue-green ocean like Greece and stuff, you know? But I got my own beautiful stuff that I get to see. Like those pretty large trees. Okay, so moving on to the next thing, we're going to take our wishing you the happiest of days. And I'm just going to, I don't think I trimmed off my little bits here. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Yeah, geez, when I was putting on those leaf stems, I went radio silent. I could even hear the silence in my brain. Like, why aren't you talking? I am now. Okay, here we go. So they have got us folding it like this in the photograph. It is photographed like this. So we're taking 2 spots and we're putting them here, and then we're going to make it like a ribbon bottom, like when you win at the fair, you know, a nice ribbon bottom. And then you're going to take four pieces and you're going to add it to the back of this like that. And they want the shorter edge on the right hand side, coming out the right hand side. So let's grab a couple of those dots now, our adhesive dots, and we're going to place them here on the ribbon. So we got 1, 2, and I'm going to pull those backs off. I'm prepping my ribbon according to the image. Really just need to get that off of there. Okay, and then there's our second one. And we're folding this over like so to create this one longer, one shorter ribbon edge here. Then we're going to take this and we're going to add 4. They're telling us to add 4 dots on here. I don't see why we need to add 4. I'm going to add 3. I'm going to break the rules and add 3. I just think 4 might be a bit excessive. Although, you know, a lot of times in the instructions, they write them out with those instructions for a reason. I have been caught in my own trouble because I just don't want to follow the rules and ended up like with an oopsies. Should have done that the way they said. Okay, then we've got our wishing you, and because I want the writing straight, right? And it's showing the writing straight, I'm going to kind of put that down straight. And then we're only adding glue dots to the back of this one, which I thought would have been pop-ups, but hey, I'm wrong sometimes when I don't follow the rules. Okay, so I can kind of see through this, so I know my words are straight like that. So I'm going to take this ribbon now that I put on here, and I'm going to place it in the middle here. And then it's saying I need to add another glue dot to the back of this ribbon. Okay, done and done. Now I'm going to move on to putting dimensionals on all of my other components. So we're just going to check that we got no little sprigs coming up. These are all looking good. Looking good. We've got no connector pieces. Sometimes, yeah, it's just usually with the sentiment and stuff, the laser just leaves these little things. So it's not doing it here. So let's move on. Each one of these has 2 on it. So each leaf has 2 dimensionals on them. Now I'm doing a paper pumpkin kit, but we have kits that come out every month, and we get about 2 kits every month. So there's always a nice rotation of all kinds of different things that you can do with your kits. 1. And it looks like we've got 3 on all of these ones. Oh, this big one has 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, it's got the leaves on the top, no dimensions on them. So I'm wondering if that's because it layers over top of the other one. And then 1, it shows 4 dimensions with 1 kind of up here. So there must be a reason for that. I'm going to assume there's a reason for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's funny, I'll always do my first one kind of as close to possible as the instructions. And then from there, I decipher, like, you know, what can stay, what can go, what can I stretch or save on, and then what should I really be following, like to the T, right? Because you want to make sure you're, oops, dropped my light. That one's a little bit touchy, that light. Okay, so now we've got our first one. We're going to put on this nice big steady one. We're going to place this big steady one on the bottom here. So one has an orange leaf, one has a yellow leaf. Orange leaf. So this is the yellow leaf here. They've got this one going across this way. So kind of in the center here, we're placing these. Then this one here, you know what? I'm going to add another dimensional to the top of that leaf because I feel like it needs some stability on that edge because we're just layering this one on top. Yeah, it would need stability. So it should be 4 dimensionals on each. See, I'm learning as I go. Then we've got our lovely little chocolate ones that we're going to kind of shove inside and underneath here. We've got one there. We've got one over here in the bottom. And the dimensions are on the bottom, so I'm just kind of sliding them in and then giving them that space there, right? 1, 2, and 3. So this one should technically kind of be a little more in this direction. Calling for it to be kind of even with that one. So there we're 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Then I'm going to pull the backings off of this circle and fair ribbon. What is gold? Gold's first place, right? Kind of like a gold ribbon. Harvest gold. Harvest gold ribbon. Reminds you of the old stoves from the 70s. Harvest gold was where it was at. Okay. Wishing you the happiest. We're going to place that right in the center, and I can see why the glue dots were used because it's just going on top of all these really popped up leaves. You're just trying to make contact with those leaves. But wow, look at that with that chocolate foil. That is a great card and definitely much better than this bright orange. The bright orange would have overshadowed a bit. I think stamping off was a really good idea. But look at how great that is. Okay, number 1, number 2, and let's pull out number 3. So we finished number 2. Number 3. I'm going to fold this, use my stamping block, finish my edge, put that just to the side a little bit. Then it's calling here for thinking of you. So let's pull off those leaves, those leaf stamps. Grab our thinking of you and the birdies. We're going to have some birdies flying off in the distance here. I think these birds will be great for other stamps. So if I wanted to, I could just stamp thankful or warm wishes instead of thinking of you if I wanted. There's a pumpkin here we're not using, but if you wanted to make more pumpkins and you had your orange markers, you could make some more orange pumpkins. Put some more pumpkin layers on there. Okay, so I picked it up. I'm just going to rub that residue off. A nice cleaning, and we are seasoned, ready to go. Thinking of you. So a lot of times I'll just line it up with my grid paper. Because it's photopolymer, I can see right through my stamp. Once you put the ink on there, you can really see it, right? Really see that color. So then I just tuck my head in and go right above it and stamp. Comes out just great. Okay, so thinking of you is done. And it's always nice when you do the ones like that. Now this one here is a little more tricky because, yeah, I need to draw it. Because this stamp is going to be stamped right directly onto top of there. So the pressure is on to do a better job, or the best job, right? Because I can't get another one of them I can't get one of those cornfields. I'd have to be creative and find a new way to use my card if I messed up this stamp. So let's make sure it's going to stick on there real good. I've seasoned it real nice. Gonna pick it up, ink it up. A lot of times, if you're concerned with photopolymer, because they're not like other stamps where they have the red stamps, the red rubber stamps have the foam built in. These don't have foam. So if you're ever concerned about it, you can get something like this. This is like a piercing mat, and you can put your image on there or your paper on here. Then you can take your stamp and stamp it on. Where are these birds flying? Okay. No, this is the way they're flying, in a V. Okay. So we're going to stamp on here, and the piercing mat is like a nice foam. So it will make that image come out a little bit better. So piercing mat is another trick you can use to get your image to be nice and clean. I haven't really noticed that I need it, but like if you're ever concerned, it'll give you a nice even stamp. Okay. Alrighty. So now I just need to flip over these, and my sentiment, which I just need to do a little trim on, just to get rid of those little nibbies on there. And I think I saw one on here too. No, maybe not. Okay. So it's asking for 4 dimensionals across here. I think 3 is probably good enough measure. 1, 2. This is going to be double popped up. So the picture that we're doing everything on is popped up. And then all the pieces on top of it are popped up. So this one might cost a little bit more to mail because it's double. If you wanted to keep your mail prices down, I would just stick this one directly on. It is calling for dimensionals, but you could stick it directly on. Then you wouldn't have to worry about that extra postage. I do love dimension on things. It really adds to, I'm actually going to peel this one up. Put it on this side. Wow, I really messed that up. Never mind. It's funny, I only wanted to use 2, and then I just went and make a mess of it. Okay, so there's one there. There's one. But then I want to put one on the tail, because a lot of times the tail will get bent pretty bad if you don't. Any finicky small things will get bent pretty bad if you don't put dimensions on them. Okay, and like you can see here, these are all hexagons. Like these are all hexagons. So that means dimensionals, right? The circles here, these black circles, those mean glue dots. So it definitely is calling for dimensionals. And I would probably just hand deliver this card to someone, right? If you just gave it to someone hand delivered, then that's a lot better. It's calling for a ton of dimensionals on this one. Another trick to getting your mail prices down is to line up your dimensionals with other layers, and sometimes